Hey YouTubers, this is Hive Radical. I needed to come on here and address something that has been really persistent in my experiences online, both on YouTube and other places. It's a common response that I believe is based on rather either erroneous understandings of what I'm trying to say, or just well, I don't know how else to say it, but I'll just get into this. There's there's a documentary kind of thing that was put out about the Book of Abraham. It's titled The Lost Book of Abraham, investigating amazing Mormon claim or whatever. Okay, so it's about the Book of Abraham, and I had commented on one of these. They've been posted many times on YouTube. Oftentimes, most of the times, in fact, the only times I've seen it is when it's been done by either a Christian or Catholic or an Islamic group. But it's just kind of this intellectual appearing hit job on the church and on the Book of Abraham. But one thing that they'll bring up oftentimes, because what they do in the documentary is they take certain assumptions about the Book of Abraham and about its sources, what documents it was pulled from or wasn't pulled from, and they use these assumptions, and then they take claims from various Egyptologists and will paint it as if there's no way that it could be true. But the thing is, they're building it on these false assumptions. But anyway, I go through on some of these, and we'll try to point out certain aspects of this that are erroneous. And I got on here, and this Brachio in Gen, when I looked at his channel, it looks like he's big into John Williams music and stuff, so I'm not sure. All the connections in there, something to do with Jurassic Park, but at least I'm guessing. There's a little dialogue here, and I'll share it. I say, and he says, this is a response to the overall video, he says, "Great video. I don't understand why anyone would believe any of it," referring to Mormonism and the Book of Abraham, presumably. "Then again, who's to say someone millennia ago just didn't sit down and write the Bible as we know it today? From what most biblical scholars seem to think, there seemed to be some validity to the idea that they simply wrote what they wanted, taking a unique spin on the ideas." I had responded that I have a hard time seeing why we take the words of a few men, with perchance a cumulative time of study of a few human lifespans, as being the ultimate and end-all authorities of what was and wasn't so in a dynastically ruled empire that died out millennia ago and lasted for millennia previous to its demise. That was me basically saying that you've got Egyptian civilization that has spanned for millennia and is detached from us presently by millennia. And there are many people who've spent their whole lives on this, and they've they've definitely put a lot into it, and we've learned a lot from the little pieces of these empires that they've been able to find and reason about. But one of the problems is that they are just only a few people. So that was what I was pointing out. Now, he responded to me, he says, because unlike you and me, they have spent their lives studying it, it's the end-all as far as we know. It's like saying, why bother trying to understand how cancer works? We don't fully understand it, so why bother? It's not the end-all, be-all, so it's not important. Now, that wasn't what I'm saying. That's nothing at all of what I'm saying. In fact, his reference to cancer could make a really good point on this. Say you have somebody that has studied cancer their whole lives. They've come up with means of treating cancer. But recently on an NPR show I came across, and this lady was writing about all of her years of writing medical papers, and she got to looking at a certain treatment for cancer. And this treatment for cancer had some really egregious and bad side effects. I mean, just what it normally would do to people as a side effect was pretty horrible. And when they did they'd done an analysis and further research on this process for treating cancer, and they discovered that the cure rates were in line with placebos. and I would hope most people watching this would know what a placebo is. But so I mean, placebo clearly is something that is nothing that somebody thinks is something. So because of that belief that they are taking a proper treatment, their body, for some reason scientists can't explain yet, heals itself. So this treatment with a horrible side effect does this. Now, this lady went into it further, looking at stuff, and realized that anywhere from 50 to 15% of medical research actually had some scientific basis in research, and the rest of it was things that hadn't been confirmed with peer review and scientific research. And to add on top of this, I was just reading in the Wall Street Journal a researcher who went through and researched the researchers. I mean, he went through and researched peer review scientific articles, and in his research he found that oftentimes the manipulations of the numbers that they would do to try to eke out and find something unique that they could proclaim, because hey, that's where you get your grant money, that's all this, that they were more likely to do either a lazy or sloppy analysis, or I mean, he was saying that more often than not the claims of studies were incorrect, because they just weren't proven by the numbers. Everything that they were putting together wasn't completely lined up. And my point is, if you look at like the treating cancer, if you're going to base your choosing of what you're going to do to treat cancer on something that isn't proven, it doesn't really matter if it's the best you have. If somebody has researched their whole life in cancer, but it's been shown that the treatment that they want to use on you doesn't have a better cure rate than a placebo. And that's kind of my point with the Egyptologists. If you're going to make a decision about what is true and isn't true on something that affects can affect your eternal destiny, that's kind of a silly thing to do, to base your whole judgment out and out on something that is so all-encompassing. You're just going to dismiss it because there's a few people that have studied it, and things have been set up in a certain presentation that can make it look like, under certain assumptions about what the claims of the faith are, or what have you, that it's incorrect. Then I mean, that's just a really screwy way to judge things. So I just wanted to get on and address that and point out that I'm not here trying to say, oh, well, we don't understand, Egyptians are too far removed for us to understand them, so why try? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you're going to make some serious decision in your life, some serious judgment of anything, of either of great import or that has claims to be of great import, that you don't use some method of judging it that is as good as throwing darts at a board. That you choose something that's better than that. And so that's my point with the Egyptologist, and with the results, well, not the result, but what they say here, and the whole thing that it's set up as, that we don't take their statements on what was and wasn't the nature of things in Egypt, and also that we don't take the assumptions that are made by those in the video. Those that are presenting it are clearly trying to present it with a really skewed presentation, really unsubstantiable assumptions about the Book of Abraham. And if you look into it deeper, it is, I've got several videos where I've pointed out things on this, and there's even more that I've read about that I haven't been able to put in videos yet. But I would just really encourage anyone to not go, I'm not dismissing this stuff out of hand. I'm not saying we shouldn't look into it, we shouldn't research this, but to take and make decisions like that is akin to, you know, deciding what kind of cancer treatment you're going to take, just, you know, from the advice of someone that's been in it for a while, even if the things that they're, you know, suggesting to you don't have a better cure rate, a demonstrably better cure rate than some placebo. So, thanks.